Hello, I'm Chief Warrant Officer 4 Vic Pinion, U.S. Navy retired, telling some sea stories of my naval career. I was telling about some plaques that I'd received, and this I'm kind of inserting in the middle of it. Because this is one that not really a plaque, it's a poem about an event where when I was stationed aboard the USS Midway, CV-41, on ported at Yokosuka, Japan, where we had to take the Indian Ocean deployment of another aircraft carrier. We had gotten the word about 3 or 4 days we're going to get underway for a routine 2-week sea period in local waters around Japan, that the USS Ranger, CV-61, had been in a serious collision with the Liberian Tanker in the Straits of Malacca. Well, aircraft carriers go fast when they're going through the Straits of Malacca. At least they did during the course of my career. It had hit this Liberian Tanker and really tore off, not completely off, but cut it loose just above the waterline, about 60 feet below the waterline, for about a few feet above the waterline, and smeared it off to the starboard side. And she was making her way back slowly back into the Philippines. Well, we had received no official word on that, but we kind of expected to have to take her deployment to the Indian Ocean. We got underway with zero advance word other than word of mouth where the Ranger had been in that collision. The first night at sea, our commanding officer come on the ship's 1MC shipwide speaker system. So, good evening, men. This is the captain speaking. I've got some bad news and some good news. First, the bad news. The USS Ranger has been involved in a collision that did significant damage to her. She's on her way into the Philippines now. Now, I hope you all brought enough skivvies for a 3-month deployment to the Indian Ocean, because that's where we're going. We're heading straight to the Philippines, unload a little bit of gear, then we're straight out to the IO for a 3-month Indian Ocean deployment. That's the bad news. Now for the good news. I checked with the ship stores, small stores, and they got a plentiful stock of skivvies. You know, we loved him for that. We headed down to the Philippines, and we pulled into port, anchored in Subic Bay, and a number of us went over to the Ranger, which had just tied up there a day before, to pick up some special gear that we needed to do special operations in the Indian Ocean. Well, the Ranger really wanted to make her own cruise. I mean, they hated it that they had been in that collision, and they didn't want to give us anything. But they were forced to. And we got the gear we needed, and we went and promptly got underway and headed for the Indian Ocean. That deployment was turned out. For us on the Midway, we were really ready. It was a very smooth deployment for us, the whole 3-month deployment. Most of it at sea in the northern Indian Ocean. We did stop at Diego Garcia and unloaded some mail and some supplies. But we had a second-class petty officer in a rescue gear crew that started writing a poem about our situation. And I want to read it to you. Here it is. Any of you can read fast or small print, please do. It was started by ABE2 HF Honeycutt. He had a half dozen verses of it written, before he presented it to me to review. I wrote an additional verse to it, and I'll identify my verse when I get to it. But then I gave it back to him, and he gave it to our division officer, who was Lieutenant Hank Davison, who was a mighty fine division officer. It goes like this. The Ancient Mariner, 1979. On April the 6th, the message came down, cancel all shore leave and prepare to leave town. The Ranger, it seemed, had pulled an old trick. When the going got rough, the Ranger got sick. Midway and crew would never stall, hastened to answer the poor Ranger's call. With a wave to our loved ones and people we knew, the Midway set sail for an early I.O. We hauled into Subic for just half a day to top off on ammo, fresh food, and some pay. Ranger was there all battered and bent, a rip in her bow and a hell of a dent. Too busy for fun, our time was too short. We finished our own load and stormed out of port. Setting sail to the west among plaintive cries, no shore leave in Subic caused many red eyes. Through the straits of Malacca with never a fear of Liberian tankers, none dared to come near. To rendezvous with Connie, who'd been waiting a while, she passed the baton and turned east with a smile. Then 31 days unbroken at sea, without the sweet taste of shore liberty. Touched ground in Mombasa and things weren't so bad. Then the word spread, we knew we were had. Forget about Perth. Now that word was hard, but Russians were playing games in our backyard. From Kenya back north, the Midway did move. With a vengeance we steamed, we had something to prove. Now hear this on Ranger, we give you no blame. Though to fail in the test, a good reason for shame. But while you suck Magoo in some low civic dive, our ears are ringing to launch the Alert 5. That was my verse. Perhaps it's all for the best, for you know that Midway sets sails boldly where faint hearts can't go. With crivets around us and bears in the air, our confident answer is just let them dare. So fear not, dear Ranger, and sleep well you might, for Midway pulls guard duty both day and night. Any troubles that threatens will soundly defeat. Midway's full name is best in the fleet. When finally back eastward to Conus you sail, the Midway stands ready to cover your tail. Smooth seas and Godspeed, may your transit be fair. You'll be sorely missed when out of our hair. If perchance you should manage to relieve us at last, man the rail and salute us as we slowly sail past. Hold your head high, for we met the test, a proud old carrier, the best in the West. I'm proud of that. The end.